Good morning. I'm delighted to present to you from Unitec, Team AB, on the subject of sustainability and ethics.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Today, our team will present you a workshop about sustainability and ethics, and we really hope that you enjoy it. But first of all, can everyone make sure that his mobile is turned off or on silent so we don't have disruption in the class? Let me introduce myself and the team and the agenda for today. My name is Muhammad Akram, and I will do the introduction part. Then we have Samantha. She will give you more information about sustainability. Eric and Lily will do a fun activity for you guys that is related to our topics. Then Andrew will give you an interactive session about ethics. Then we will do a survey to get your feedback. And finally, Salman will do the conclusion for our presentation. To frame our topics, obviously you can see we choose coffee as a theme to demonstrate our chapters in the textbook. Coffee. Okay, guys, who likes coffee here? Anyone likes coffee? Yeah, like most of us. Most of us like coffee. That's good. Have you ever, guys, thought about where does our coffee come from? Anyone knows? Yemen. Starbucks. Yeah, maybe Starbucks. Coffee has been traded for over 600 years, and implication of coffee production have had major impacts on economic, social, and environmental sphere. I will show you a short video about coffee production, and it will give you an idea about it. Okay.
Over 1 billion cups of coffee are consumed worldwide each day. Every single bean it takes to make that coffee is hand-picked and meticulously processed. Despite coffee being a multi-billion-dollar industry, today the vast majority of the world's coffee farmers live in dire poverty. What if we could help change that? In January 2013, our small film crew set out with 2 North American coffee roasters on a 1,000-mile journey across Central America. We filmed stories of farmers who are refusing to accept exploitation and are using fairly traded coffee as a tool for social justice.
Un aspecto importante que ha hecho es devolver la dignidad a los productores.
Por la casa que aquí vivía, dentro de la casa de nosotros, pero ahora, pues ya está cultivado el café.
Queremos continuando el trabajo que ya han hecho nuestros antepasados y no queremos que se pierda esa identidad maya.
También una historia bastante grande, porque ya con una mesa, cuatro.
We saw how farmers and buyers can become partners and friends, and how partners react when crops fail, and how growing coffee cooperatively has been the vehicle for soldiers to become farmers, for women to empower themselves and their families, for communities to build resilience, and for indigenous people to rise above centuries-old justice. We're an independent production company dedicated to creating films for better world.
Okay, these are the guys who plant our coffee beans, and we just see the final result of a cup of coffee that smells nice. Now I will pass my speech to Samantha, and she will speak about sustainability. Yep.
Tēnā koutou. I'm going to talk to you today about sustainability, and I'll just move that on. Okay. Sustainability in 2014 is about being considerate for the social and economic and environmental impacts of the decisions that you might make when you are developing businesses. And traditionally, entrepreneurs have, well, in the past they have, often developed innovations that might be detrimental to those environmental spheres. And today, sustainability is about changing the way that we think about business and the impacts that what we are going to do to make money, not only make money, but they also think about the people that are involved in that process, the way that that money is traded or that commodity is traded, and the way that the money moves around the world, and also about the impacts of that production on the environment. And we chose coffee particularly because it is the second most traded commodity in the world under petroleum. And it's everybody pretty much drinks coffee. There's 7.5 billion dollars worth of traded coffee, US dollars, in the world per year. So it's a huge amount of money. And today, there is a movement for sustainability and to minimise the impacts of what we do with coffee production, from growing it right the way through to drinking it. And so hopefully you will gain some understanding about those today. That definition up there comes from the Brundtland Report. It says that sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet those needs. Okay. Okay. So it's estimated that 2.5 billion cups of coffee are consumed in the world every day. And I've taught you about, sorry, it was 70 billion, not 7.5 billion, about the amount of money that it makes worldwide. Okay, when you have a cup of coffee, you've got a choice about, there are a few choices you can make that would change the way that impacts that coffee that you're drinking on the environment, socially and economically. And one simple demonstration of that is about the cup that you choose to have your coffee in. So today you've got paper cups with plastic lids. Both items can be recycled, and there are other new developments with coffee cups like the Bio Cup, which is one that can be composted. Has anyone seen the Bio Cup? Yeah, Bio Cup. So the coffee cart ladies downstairs, they use sustainably grown coffee, and they use cups that are composted. And today, if you win our activity, we're going to give you a voucher for a coffee from those guys. So get motivated to do it. It's really nice coffee, and it was really nice they supplied it to us. So this is a little video about Keep Cup, which is an innovation to do with the cup that you take away your coffee in. It's just one way that people who are selling coffee can make a little bit of difference. And when you are selling so much coffee, one little thing can actually make a huge impact. Where's it? Sorry. Okay. So cups are one way, but the production of coffee affects the environment in many different ways. So it's caused lots of pollution to do with water degradation, land and soil degradation. It's also affected we get pesticide pollution from it, habitat destruction, and it also affects the people who grow it, which the video that you saw at the front is talking about the cooperative methods between the growers and the coffee production. So what I want you to do now is just have a think about that cup of coffee that you might drink every day, or whenever you can buy coffee, or even the instant coffee that you buy from the supermarket, and how that it might affect the social, economic and environmental environmental spheres of the world. So just have a couple of minutes to think, and then I'm just going to get your ideas up on the board for how you think your cup of coffee has affected the environment. We've showed you a video, and we've also talked to you a little bit about the farming methods, so there should be hopefully some of you have found some ideas. Okay. Has anyone got an idea for me about how that cup of coffee impacts environment or economics or social world? Anyone? What about my team? Silence. Well, I think that it can make a lot of rubbish. I'll start you off. Anyone else got any ideas about coffee? No one's had any coffee themselves. Peter, yes, please. Yeah. So that means that it doesn't have lots of it's like inbreeding, and so it doesn't develop new varieties and things unless we do it in the lab, doesn't it? Is that what you mean, Peter?
That's a fair point. As a monoculture crop, and as you say, yes, it's highly susceptible
To diseases, yeah.
like that. Or petrol. Yeah. Well, I was thinking that it's a monocrop, but think of everything else. Every crop, including all the weeds, including all the bugs.
Yeah.
It's not the biodiversity.
I've got you. So they've cleared the land to plant coffee, and they've got rid of the biodiversity that existed in that land, which is the animals and the plants that surround it, and even the microorganisms that are around. Anybody else got any other ideas? Hopefully you'll learn some more about it then. So the coffee production has impacts obviously in the environment with rubbish and pollution and things like that. You can make a change by just choosing a different cup to have your coffee in, or choosing the coffee that you choose to buy. Okay, I'm going to pass you on to Lily and Eric today. Thank you. And there you go. Right. You're right. Okay. Oops.
Thanks, Susan. I'm Lily. Here's Eric. Today we arranged.
Oh.
Okay. Thanks, Sam. I'm Lily. Here's Eric. Today we arranged the game for you guys, and the name is called Water Relay Race. Why we play this game today? Because I know most people loves coffee too much. Maybe you drink every day, or one day 2 cups maybe. But do you know how to do you know how many water we use to make a cup of coffee? Who knows? Please. Do you know? Actually, to make a cup of coffee, you have to use 140 liters water from bean to cup. So you can know how much water we is used every year. Erica will explain how to play this game. Hope you enjoy.
Hi. Hi everybody. We're gonna do the water relay race, and the rule of the game. You should do the team member work together, and you take the cup with water and run to the empty bucket and fill the cup of water into your team bucket, and you run back to the start line and pass the cup to the next member, and who fill the cup, and they run to your team bucket and fill the cup of water in the bucket, and keep going still your bucket is full. And when you are finished your bucket, you just do a start jump to show that you have filled the bucket.
I'm moving like this.
Fill the bucket, and if you have filled your team bucket, and you won the race, get a coffee of our team will offer, and it's located in the front of ANZ. Everybody go downstairs there, and we meet 10 minutes later. Okay, that's all the game. I gonna go to set up. Okay,
So what Eric and Lily are going to do is they're going to set up an activity downstairs, and we're going to take a break now. So it's break time. There's some coffee cupcakes and lots of coffee made for you if you'd like that. And then we're going to meet at 9 o'clock down at the ASB Bank downstairs. We'll lock the room so everything will be secure in here. Yeah. And you'll see Lily and Eric down there, and just meet in your teams, and you're going to do a little race together.
Enjoy coffee and cake there or there.
All right, so break time. So have some coffee and cake, and it's break time for 10 minutes, and then we're going downstairs. Thank you.
Come on, let's ask you.
Bro, we can do this together, just me.
CD. Okay,
CD. Okay, second line.
I want to find you.
Do we have to run? Run.
That's good exercise. Is your team?
And also on this. Take some scraps of the buckets filling.
So we just
Keep out of the way.
Oh my god.
More water than anybody else. Prize for the most water.
Yeah, this one. Very famous near. Nearly. Ah, you. This one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Done, done.
Finish!
The game? I know you're tired. What do you have any feeling about this game? So what do you think? It's better experience, well. You know, next, 咋说 next. Yeah. Cup. I don't.
It comes from how much it takes to grow that bean. So the 140 litres comes from how much water it takes to actually grow that bean to actually the production of that cup. So even the milk, the cows that need water and the grass growing, everything that accounts along the chain of production with coffee, that's a calculation that they've come up with to work out that's just how much water all of those things add up to make that one cup of coffee. Is that what you mean?
Okay. Do you have any questions? According to the survey, the Starbucks will sold 2.5 billion cups of coffee every year. So if put a cup side by side, they would stretch around the global 5.5 times. So totally they will use 150 liters of water every year. So you can know how much will use, and also some people will waste as well. And also there are 2 billion people live without pure clean water, like Africa. So from this photo, you can see they don't have much water. They just take it from the hole. So finally, I hope we guys hand in hand to reduce water waste. I know you during the game. I know many water is wasted on the ground because we enjoy it. So I think we should reduce water waste. And if you buy coffee, you can use your own cup. Thank you. Next is Andrew.
Okay, thank you Lily and Eric. Right, ethics. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about ethics and social entrepreneurs. So by the end of my little speech, you should be able to understand that ethics can be a grey area and that legality is not necessarily an indicator of what is right and wrong. You will also understand the motivators behind social and ecological entrepreneurs and the activities which they follow. So, ethics. What is it? Firstly, it is a branch of philosophy which deals with the concepts of right and wrong conduct. Now, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy says that business ethics is a form of applied or professional ethics that examines ethical principles and moral or ethical problems that arise in a business environment. It applies to all aspects of business conduct and is relevant to the conduct of individuals and entire organizations. So, it's a grey area which has been debated since ancient Greece, at least, possibly earlier. You'll be familiar with the names like Aristotle and Socrates, along with students like Plato. You'll be familiar with these names. Socrates, in fact, laid the framework for Western ethical thinking and famously died for his beliefs. So what ethics isn't? It's not black and white. It's not a clear-cut right and wrong answer subjects. And many fields of ethical discussion are grey areas. There are many schools of thought around ethics, such as consequentialism and deontology. Has anybody come across these words? So consequentialism is basically an outcome-driven philosophy. It looks at after an event has happened, it looks at the end result and goes, was that a good or a bad thing? Deontology is more duty-based. It looks at people's actions throughout the action, throughout the activity, and asks whether their conduct and their motivation was right or wrong. Now, both of these schools can be viewed as correct, so they're both logically consistent. But the application of these schools to the same situation can lead to quite different outcomes. So it's not a legal framework either. I'll just draw a bit of a diagram for you on the board. So as you can see here, actions can be divided into one of four areas. You can have legal and ethical actions, legal, unethical, ethical yet illegal, and unethical and illegal. So as a class, can we just think of one or two activities which might be able to be put in each of these boxes? So, do we have any takers for the first box? An activity which is both legal and ethical. Donations, yep. Yeah, donations is a good example. In fact, most of your day-to-day activities will fall in this box, I hope. What about some legal, unethical actions, like making you do a water relay race at 9 in the morning? Any other ideas?
Legal high. Sales of legal high.
Sales of legal highs, yep. Now again, this example here quite well highlights the divide here. This line here is actually kind of fuzzy because some people think that selling legal highs is quite ethical. In fact, some people might put selling illegal drugs as an ethical action here. So are there any other examples which people can think of which is illegal yet ethical? Yep, that's a perfect example. So there's a moral question called the firefighter's dilemma, and that basically says, is it all right for a firefighter to kick down the door of a house to save somebody who's in it? It's normally illegal to kick down a door, but this is one of those areas where ethics can override legality. And there is actually legal precedence for that situation, but it's just one example. Okay, and the square which you probably don't want to really be too familiar with. Illegal and unethical actions. Any ideas? Stabbing somebody? Perhaps? Okay, assault, murder. All those kind of nasty things which as a society we don't want. Yes, Peter? What was that, sorry? Academic dishonesty. Where should we put that? Okay. Falsifying your CV. Okay. I'll just sum that up as fraud. Yeah, so good examples. Okay, so who does all this affect? Well, firstly, you. Affects you, alright? As a main driver behind many of the decisions you make every day, having a strong sense of ethics will help guide your actions, make for more consistent outcomes to events, and make your interactions with others generally more peaceful, productive, and cooperative. It affects your co-workers, co-students, people you work and live with. Has anybody had an instance in the past where a co-worker or a co-student has acted unethically? No? Has somebody at your work stolen work property, misled a customer, lied to management? There are just a few examples of the negative effects a co-worker with a poor ethical sense can have. On the flip side, however, if you and your co-workers share a strong sense of ethics and you both have similar ideas of what is right and wrong and act consistently upon them, a very strong team can be formed. It affects your organisation as a whole, whether that's Unitech or your place of work or a business you own yourself. Following on from co-workers, if the company you work for has an ethical code of conduct and is effectively applied through all levels of the business, it makes for a nice place to work and can help the company navigate out of using manipulative tactics or resorting to dirty business. Can anybody think of an example of dirty business? Enron? Anybody? No? I mean, you'd be familiar. Yeah, it pops up in the news all the time. Examples of corporations who have acted unethically for gain, but in the long term, you'd hope that it tends to always come out in the media, whether it's a month later or 10 years later. It usually tends to backfire. It affects your suppliers. Following on from ethical company practices, as suppliers are a key aspect of most businesses. If you have a supplier with an ethical code of conduct similar to your own, it can create a more harmonic relationship, ultimately benefits everyone. So they won't rip you off, and they'll tend to go the extra mile for you because they know that you act in the interests of everybody. Your customers, it certainly affects your customers. So as a business, you want to try and sell as much of your product as possible. So it makes sense to treat people ethically, as this has an influence on your reputation. As I mentioned earlier, companies who appear in the news as acting unethically tend to suffer huge reputational harm. Especially in today's age of social media, a bad company experience can be shared with the entire world almost instantly. It's said that a customer will tell 5 people about a good experience with a company, but tell 20 people about a bad one. And then ultimately, it affects the world at large. Ethical conduct has a habit of creating more ethical conduct. It's critical in a world where business has more and more influence every year for them to act ethically all of the time. This applies not just to their activities in their home country, but especially to their actions overseas, particularly in less developed countries where the potential for harm is much greater. So, ecopreneurs, or ecological entrepreneurs, and social entrepreneurs. These are people who start businesses with a focus on social or environmental benefits more than profits. Now, these businesses can take a variety of shapes, from full for-profit enterprises who happen to make products purely for their social benefits, through to non-profit organisations run off donations and grants. Can we think of some examples of some non-profits? Non-profit organisations? UNICEF? Any other ideas? Greenpeace? Yes. Doctors Without Borders? So all of these organisations have been started by social entrepreneurs. They're non-profits and their aim is to create good in the world. So these organisations tend to reinvest any profits back into their own business or the community rather than distributing them to shareholders. More recently, some businesses have been financed from crowdsourcing or similar distributed methods. Now, the investors in these tend to invest small amounts but in large numbers to collectively finance projects, mainly done for philanthropic reasons, although there are certain, to motivate people to donate, many of these crowdsourcing companies have levels of reward relating to the size of the investment. So these people have a very strong ethical drive. This drive not only motivates these entrepreneurs to do good, but it also guides their actions on both macro and micro scales, from how they treat people in day-to-day interactions to what direction their business ultimately takes. I have no idea what happened there. So they use their entrepreneurial skills to benefit society as a whole. Now, a business can be a very powerful force for good, supplying products and services in the most efficient manner possible. They can also be challenging to operate, requiring a very close control on resource allocation and key activities conducted. Social entrepreneurs use their business skills to maximise the public good that the business creates. This can range from things like developing cheaper or more effective medicines to inventing new water treatment systems, researching alternative energy, or helping others start their own business through microfinance or business incubation. But everybody has a price. Now then, who knows who this person is? Somebody knows who this person is. I don't believe you. Anybody? Sorry? Abraham Lincoln. Yes. Okay. Now then, most of you will know him as being one of the early presidents of the United States. What some of you might not know is that before he was the president, he was a very respected lawyer in Illinois. Now, one day, a man came to Lincoln asking Lincoln to represent him in court, to which Lincoln, suspecting the man was guilty, asked if he was. The man confirmed that he was indeed guilty, and that's exactly why he wanted Lincoln to represent him. Lincoln replied that since the man had admitted guilt, he could not possibly defend him. The man was shocked at Lincoln's answer and retorted, "Mr. Lincoln, I'm offering you $1,000, which was a lot of money back in the time. It's about $25,000 in today's purchasing power. So he says, Mr. Lincoln, I'm offering you $1,000 to defend me. Lincoln refuses. The man offered $2,000, which Lincoln again refused. Getting desperate, the man played his full hand. He goes, Mr. Lincoln, I can't believe I've travelled all of this way for nothing. You're the best lawyer in the area. I have to have you defend me. I will offer you $4,000 to defend me. At that point, Lincoln got up out of his chair, grabbed the man by the shirt cuff, and threw him out the door into the street. A moment later, after the man had stood up and straightened his clothes off, he asked Lincoln, "Why did you throw me out when I offered 4,000? Why not 1 or 2, or when I admitted guilt in the first place?" To which Lincoln looks at him and he goes, "You were nearing my price." Now this example shows how most people will have ethical codes of conduct, but that there is nearly always a way to get them to break it, and it's usually money. And this is where a lot of the corruption which you see in some parts of the world has its roots. So, although Lincoln decided to throw the man out of the door instead of agreeing to break his code of conduct, many others in fact choose to do the opposite. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little group discussion on ethics. So if you are all sitting in your groups, I'm going to get one of my team members to go to your groups, and we have 3 scenarios to run through. Right. Now these ones are for you. Yep. Yep, and take just 3 or 4 of those each. Okay. So everybody should have something like this, or at least have 2 or 3 copies between the group. Just be where you can read a copy. Do we need any more? Do you need a few more? Oh, just 1. Salmon, okay.
Scenarios?
Yes, these are the scenarios. You okay? Just jump into a group. And, just be, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have? Oh, that one. Sorry. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so is everybody where they can see one of these? Yes? Okay, cool. So the first scenario, which I would like you to discuss in your groups, just fairly simple to start it off. So you arrive in town before work and you feel like a morning coffee to kickstart your day. There are 2 coffee shops on your way to work. One only sells fair trade certified coffee for $4.50 a cup, and the other sells coffee with no information on where it comes from or how it's grown for $3.50 a cup. You can't tell any difference in taste. Where do you go? I'm going to ask you for an answer in a couple of minutes, so discuss in your groups. Do you guys want to take some of these? Okay, and these here, these are talking points, these bullet points. Mm-hmm. So if you go into groups and just facilitate, just if they're getting stuck, just ask them these questions. Yeah. So that's okay. The rest of you must drink tea. All right. The next. That's So yeah, I mean, most of you would actually go for the cheaper option, which is fine because, as I said, ethics is a grey area, and it's just a cup of coffee in the end of the day, and it's $1 for you. You earned it. Who knows? Okay. So the next scenario. Yes, Peter. Okay. Okay. Yep. So again. Okay. So Peter has said that he would go to the $3.50 store and ask them for fair trade coffee, which is a perfectly valid response, and the barista would probably give him a blank look and say, "That's the store across the road, mate." But it's obviously his choice in a free market to do that. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that response in mind when you consider this next question. You're opening a new cafe in an up-and-coming suburb of Auckland. You've decided to make an ethical decision and opt for a more responsible coffee supplier, and you now have a choice. Now, the Rainforest Alliance ensures that coffee grown doesn't harm the environment it's grown in, yet it makes no promise to the coffee growers regarding the price of their beans. Fair trade ensures that coffee growers receive a living wage regardless of market fluctuations, but makes no claims to ensuring environmental sustainability. So who do you buy your beans from as the owner of a brand new cafe? Okay, so it sounds like there's some good discussion going on. Have we come up with some answers? Okay, decision time. Somebody's, you've got the two salesmen standing in your shop front, and they're both saying buy my product. One's from the Rainforest Alliance and one's from Fairtrade. So, as a cafe owner, who would buy from the Rainforest Alliance? A show of hands, please. 1, 2, 3, 3.5. 3.5. Okay, 3.5 people. And so from Fairtrade, the overwhelming majority, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's about 20.5. Okay, so it's pretty obvious from those results that you favour people making a living wage well above the well-being of the environment. And I mean, again, that's interesting, and consider this results when you go to the last scenario which I've presented you with. So in this one, it's this is big picture thinking right here. You are an advisor to the Minister of Economic Development in a developing nation with a large number of coffee farmers. A multinational coffee franchise is looking to secure a supply agreement with either your nation or a nearby competing nation. The deal will involve hundreds of millions of dollars in trade per year and will help your country develop much needed infrastructure such as roads, housing, sanitation, water supply, all this kind of thing. The company, however, is concerned about a growing influence the fair trade organisation is having in your country and is worried about how this will reflect on coffee prices. The nearby competing nation has very little involvement with fair trade and thus can supply coffee beans more cheaply. How do you advise the minister to proceed in his negotiations with the multinational coffee franchise?
Someone. And what after my section, then I pass it to Mohammed, and then he's doing the survey, and then he's passing it to you for the conclusion. Yeah, okay.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was enjoying that.
All right. So, do we have some answers? Okay. And in this one, I'm not just going to put a tally on. I'm going to be asking you for your opinions. So, does anybody want to put their hand up and explain how they would advise the minister on how to proceed in the negotiations? Would you say it's a fantastic deal, just go, just whatever they want, agree to it, we need this money? Or do you say, nah, we'll figure something else out? Where are you lying? Who's more of the accept? Well, okay, let's do like a hands up type show of thing. Who would accept the deal regardless of the terms? Anybody? And who would reject the deal completely out of hand? No? Okay, so no extremes, you're all in the middle somewhere. You'd all be agreeing to the deal, assuming some conditions are met. Yes? Yes, this is where most people lie? Most of you haven't put your hand up. Okay, so what were some of the things you considered? The points I've got here, things like the income of the nation. Is this going to be a good thing for the nation? Do we need this money to help our people? Future business. Is this going to be the only multinational coffee franchise looking to secure a supply agreement? Is there scope to expand the deal later on? And again, with Fairtrade's response to the deal, do you have to, as a country, do you have to let Fairtrade in? Do the farmers have to be a part of Fairtrade? No. So you have flexibility there. But as you can see, it looks like it generated some good discussion. So it's good that you're thinking about these kinds of things. Do we have an answer? Yeah.
If you did straight up say no to the big multinational, assuming that another big multinational comes along, surely it opens up all these doors to the trade companies that want to be getting involved, but it also means that you're losing out on potential profits, you're losing out on that economic structure, which may mean that the minister of economic development, and if you voted in next time, they may need to do it back on it. And
yeah.
So I guess my viewpoint is because Fairtrade works well in developed nations and in wealthy nations, but in this one where they still need those core infrastructure elements, it might be better just to kind of say, yeah, right now you're a Fairtrade, you can't afford to do it at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a very, very valid opinion right there. All right. Okay, yes. Let's get a discussion going.
I would be advising is that because our country is developing this fair trade infrastructure, developing organically, as I'm calling it, then you try and stress to the multinational that this was a strength, that they would have access to the source of fair trade coffee. And therefore, as part of their product line offering, they should be offering specific fair trade source coffee as an option to customers, and we would be supporting development of that relationship with our company in our country.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And again, yep.
You did come in and agree, though. We would highlight that they have a fair trade portion, and in the Western end, which isn't a fair trade, obviously, as well. And that may be noticed by the consumer. You realise, oh, well, actually, if she's doing your fair trade, you know what, the Western.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure if people would be happy to go on board with startups.
Yeah. Okay. So again, two sides of the argument there, both very valid, and what they serve to highlight very effectively is the impact that economic factors such as price, influence like that can have on, on ethical decisions, and the influence of the economic factors can tend to swing your final answer between those black and white points into those varying shades of grey. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And again, another point to consider is there any fixed terms on any contracts you sign, and what is the investment on your side in terms of the infrastructure to set up the deal, and how this plays into effect later. Okay, so just to finish up, I'll bring up some points to consider when you are making business decisions, including your own personal ethics and how they relate to your job, and whether your job is even a good fit for your ethics. So, first question, do you have your own set of personal ethics which you follow? Anybody? Half? Some of you? I'd say most of you would have at least considered the question of right and wrong at some point. Now, you may not all be firm consequentialists or subscribe to deontology, but you at least have an understanding. So just think, question yourself, how did you come to the conclusions that you have? And have you ever been in a situation where you've had to act on your ethics? Have you ever broken your own code of ethics for any reason? So when you're at work, you could also ask yourself, does this company conduct activities ethically? Are they involved in activities like dumping chemical runoff into a nearby river? Even though this might be legal in some parts of the world, you have to ask, is it ethical? If they buy products from a manufacturer accused of worker abuse, again, this tends to be legal, but is it ethical? Some companies can deliberately make false or misleading claims about their products, and some companies rely on bribing government workers in order to secure contracts. So you need to ask yourself, am I being pressured by management perhaps to make decisions that I feel are unethical? Are there any actions I can take if I feel my company's actions are unethical? Could you resign? Could you quit question management on their practices and their thinking behind the decisions they make? Or could you report the company to the media and see if they take us up? So, in summing up, ethics is a very, very important factor to consider, not only in your life, but in business in general. Having a strong code of ethics will serve you well in all of your interactions with your co-workers and the organisation you deal with, and should have a profound positive effect on the rest of the world. So I ask you all to consider your own ethical standpoint, and then once you have decided on it, continually question it and act upon it consistently in your day-to-day activities. Are there any questions? Yes. Okay, so Socrates and Socrates was not happy with, I believe it was the Athenian rule in the area he lived. And he had a choice to either basically stop making trouble and basically dismiss his own teachings, because he was a big teacher of ethics. He had a choice to either basically sit down, shut up and go away and stop making problems, or drink a poisoned cup of hemlock. And he chose the latter, basically as a statement many people say that it was in fact the highlight of his career, taking such a stand on his own teachings, and it's basically practicing what he preached. If you want more details, you could look it up online. Anybody else? If not, I'd like to pass it over to Mohammed, and he will have a class survey. Okay, thank you.
Hi again. Stop.
Oh.
Okay. Hi again. We will do an online survey now. Can everyone get his smartphone or tablet or laptop out? And if you don't have a smartphone, this is really bad. I think you need to get one. You are too way behind. Could you please type this link? This one, wolf.com. You need to type it also. It's this one. So you just go to this page. Yeah. So is everyone on this page? And you can guys share one phone or one tablet. It's okay. Okay. Yes, guys, let me know when you all have it. We got like 25 students in the class, so we can see 25 results. Anyone have any troubles? This one. Oh, sorry. This one. This one. The question is in another page. But are you all on this one? Okay. Okay, the first question is, just a second. I'll just explain for you how does this work. The page that you logged in, you just need to type the code that is here. So you just type the code and submit, then it will appear immediately. It's really easy. Okay, the question is, do you believe that we need to care about the environment more than ourselves? So, of course, not really, no way. I mean, I don't care. So can you please just submit? Yep, we got one, of course. That's nice. And if you guys wanna. 5, not really. 1.
Anyone having any issues getting on?
Yeah, anyone having any problem? Okay. What's the thing?
Like I'm here, and then what do I do?
Oh, just which one is your answer?
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah, okay.
Then, yep, awesome. I think 6 or 7 lifts. So you write 637159 if you want to choose, of course, and the same code for each answer. Okay. I will just stop this question. Yep. So you can't answer anymore. So I just want to hear from you guys, like, who said not really? I just want to know. Come on, don't be afraid. Can you raise your hand, the 6 people who said not really? Come on. Okay, who said of course? Okay, most of you. For this question, it's just for us to know whether if most of the people would agree about caring about the environment, like is it a really huge issue and we can see it or not, but it's a really good result. Okay, second question is this one. Okay, would you act ethically if you became an entrepreneur even if you will get less profit? So imagine you have a business and you will get lots of profit if you don't act ethically, but if you act ethically then you will get less profit. What would your answer would be? Absolutely, maybe, also no way. And remember Andrew, what he said, everyone has a price, and I mean lots of money if you act unethically. Yep. So, is there anyone who have a trouble to log into this page or answer? Yep. You can see the result? Ah, okay. But you can use someone else? Can I hear feedback? Like, can someone make a comment on this? Who said absolutely? Yep. Okay. Okay. Can you answer why would you choose to get less profit and act ethically?
Yeah, I've seen that nowadays people really need to care about the others, environment. So I prefer to invest money to help the others, help each other. So I think this is the right thing. You know, it's like if I get a lot of money, then I try to do that. So not the main thing.
Yeah, fair point. Yep.
Probably in the long run, being more ethical is probably going to be more sustainable. And I'm not talking about environmental sustainability, but sustainability of the business.
The business, yes.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can make real hypothesis in the first 5 years of really ethical behaviors, as I think Andrew mentioned, bad business practices will eventually come out. And so, if you're making real hypothesis, you're probably business case related. So if you're doing more ethical practices now, you're building a stronger foundation for your company in the future. So imagine out there, maybe they're making more money anyways.
What are you saying is like maybe if I act unethical, then it might damage my reputation?
Yeah.
In the future, I mean, like, yeah, not at that time. Yeah, maybe. Who said no way? Can I know? Just to hear his, feedback. I mean, I think he's really honest, which is good. Okay. The third question is about our workshop. Now we have two questions about our workshops. How much information have you learned from the workshop? Just, a lot, a moderate amount, a little. And just be honest, please. I think he's the same guy who was like relating me the same. Maybe he just pressed twice. Okay. It's like for our information only. Yeah. Okay, stop. And the last one. Overall, were you satisfied about the presentation activities? Extremely satisfied, moderately satisfied, and slightly satisfied? Yes, please. Even. Yeah, 19. It's like before. All finish? Yep. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for participating in the survey. Now I will pass the speech for Salman, and he will do the conclusion. Thank you.
So hi everyone. So before we leave the room, I just want to wrap up everything we talked about today regarding entrepreneurship and sustainable development. So entrepreneurship and sustainable development. Entrepreneurs help us into crisis. Innovation ideas emerge when during times of crisis. What is entrepreneur ecology? Improvement through sustainable entrepreneurship. Our society needs to be more sustainable, and we are the problem, but we can be the solution. What is sustainable entrepreneurship? It involves the considering the biosphere and waste products. What is natural capitalism and the ecology of commerce? It is the conservation by more effective manufacturing, reusing the materials on biological models, and change in values from quantity to quality. Ethical and social entrepreneurship. Ethics and entrepreneurship. Ethical behaviors by entrepreneurs is required for the future of our planet. Maybe we can't think about ourselves, but we should think about the children because it's about them. Ethical entrepreneurship protects individuals and communities from corrupt business practice to be a better society in the future. What is ecopreneurs? They are not selfish people. They are focused on unselfish goals, and they are committed to larger outcomes than the profit motive. It's more than the profit we should consider about in the future. So, thank you everyone for coming today Today we saw brainstorming, facts of coffee, lectures on ethics, and the games we played. We did all these things to make you guys realize the importance and importance of sustainability and ethics, which are involved for being a good entrepreneur. And we just hope we are able to make you think about it in a positive manner for a better future. I welcome everyone to ask any sorts of questions, and we hope we are able to answer those questions for you guys. So, any questions? I'm not done yet, so yeah. So if not, I would like to thank the audience for participating on behalf of my team, and especially the lovely judges, our kind lecturer Peter, for your precious time. As we all know that after money, time is the most expensive thing today. I hope you guys liked our presentation. Have a great day and be positive. Thank you.
I have to stand up? No?
Just hold it, because just hold it.
Okay.
It's going to take it back and answer it. Right.
I have one question. In the survey, you can multi-participate? I mean, like, you can answer more than once the same question?
Yeah, you can. So it's just repeatedly just keep putting the code in and see if it's another vote.
Okay.
But there is like an option that you've taken in the tool.
Can I get a sound person to do the job properly? You've got to be carrying it, I said. All right?
Well, for the survey tool, you need to click an option that you allow more than one answer, or otherwise the default is one answer per device. So you need to click that option. Yep.
Yeah. Can you write up the two names of the two ethical theories, the consequentialism and the other one I didn't quite get, the deontology?
Yeah, so the two schools of thought which I mentioned are consequentialism, which, like I said, is it's the consequences of the actions that are taken is what is looked at in an ethical light. And deontology, which is duty-based, looks at the motivations and actions of the people in the situation and doesn't and has less of a consideration for the consequences.
You referred to some Western philosophers who have underpinned our ethical thinking. Are there some Asian philosophers that have also underpinned ethical thinking, such as Confucius and perhaps some of the others?
Yes is the answer. Yeah, so yes, I did mention Western philosophy because, I mean, we are giving this presentation in a Western country. There are other philosophers, like you mentioned, Confucius. I can't give you any examples of anybody besides that, but yes, there are other schools of thought.
In the news over the last week or two, have there been some news items of relevance to your topics?
Yes, there is. So just this week that's come out, there's been revelations of a banker from, I think actually ANZ, who over the last 3 or 4 years has stolen about $500,000 of company money, basically through using their access to the company software and using it for illegal and unethical purposes. So that's one example. And Sam?
There's just been investment in a new company that's producing pulper paper products in New Zealand. So my mum works for Rayonier, and they are a big logging exporting company, and they have just they've just bought a pulp and paper manufacturing company overseas though, and they've had external investment to do that. So their considerations to do with sustainability for their business, because it's the outcome of their business to sell more products to do with paper.
I've got no more questions. Any more questions from anybody else? Okay.
You wanna go again?
Well, one thing I really like about this these structures, I think it's very clear and well structured, and also I really like the content, especially some examples and ideas. Well, it's really attractive. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Through all your apples in one go, just one. Right.
I like how you use coffees as like an example and as a theme, and how it incorporated within the main topics. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I also like the example of coffee, and I like the way you assist us in group discussion.
Yeah, actually I like the idea, and it's perfect job, and you answer all the question. Yeah, this is.
I thought that those group discussions in regards to ethics were excellent. Probably one of the more engaging group discussions that I've had from this course. So thanks for that, guys.
Well, I think that was really interesting, the video. A really creative and original game.
Okay, not the whole lot, just one.
One? Only one?
One, only one.
Okay.
You can come back to the rest of your list afterwards.
Okay,
We've got to end on a high. But since you're so keen, what do I got? Yeah, I like the Prezi that you had there. I like the nice images that were part of your Prezi, which reflected the text of your oral and text presentation. Okay, so now we do the onion, so areas of improvement. Okay, so what could this team improve? What could future teams improve?
I think that not all the members talk a lot. Maybe in another groups divide more the time. All the people participate.
I would have liked to have heard a wee bit more on sustainability, because we covered ethics really well, but maybe if we could just maybe balance it out a little bit more there. And just the other thing is perhaps the transitions between members and between topics could have been slightly smoother, but otherwise it was excellent.
I think it's all good, but they need to improve the conclusion.
I agree with my team members.
Yeah, the minutes, people talking, need to like even it out and everything, but overall pretty good.
Well, I couldn't say anything really bad, but probably more activities that relate to like arguments or something like that, maybe more attractive. Thank you.
Just a couple of points. When you ask a question of the audience, just be patient. I know you want to keep moving things. Just be patient. Wait for people to think and come back with the answer that you've asked the question. The conclusion and the review. I think the conclusion included material which had not been presented during the earlier parts of the workshop. Not entirely sure, but I don't remember hearing anything about natural capitalism and a few other things. So when you do a conclusion, it should only include material which has been covered through the whole topic. The other negative point is not to the presenting team, but it's to the video team. Please ensure the video team, it's your job to be chasing around with the microphone and getting it to the right person quietly. Okay. So now it's time to end on some other positive points. Who wants to start?
I
Do you want to
talk
start?
further?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
How would you like that?
So I think the video was really interesting. I think it's was really creative and original, the game. I like a lot the presentation of ethics, the definition, the dynamic on the board, and the example of Lincoln. I think was really, really good. What else? Also the conclusions. Can I? No? And the survey, the online survey was really, really, really good.
Overall, guys, I just think the whole thing was really excellent. Definitely one of the better presentations that I've seen. Studying here at Unitec, you guys clearly put a lot of work into it. Lots of interesting information, and I enjoyed the games that we played and the discussions that we had.
Yes, overall it's all good. I like the ethic topic and the group work as well. The survey is very good. Yeah.
I think overall it's really good. I like the ethic part best, and I like the activity. Helps me wake up in the early morning. Thank you, guys.
Pretty much what everyone said.
Yeah, it's really good, and especially the activities, and also the ideas. I really love the ideas. Looks like you really think about it, and yeah, I love it.
Has anyone from the audience got any positive points they would like to give feedback to the team about? I'm patiently waiting. Yeah.
Are you guys taking business fundamentals? Because these are the main topics that we talk about in that class. So I really enjoyed how you guys talked about sustainability and ethics. Well done. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so again, thank you very much. I like the coffee theme. I like the good pre-production. You're here really early, just around 7 o'clock, getting the room set out, and all the coffee, and all the coffee, and all the coffee. A lot of innovation in this one that I've not seen before. I've not seen coffee before. I've not seen the survey being used by a student group before. So that's great, and I think that works extremely well. So thanks for doing that. You had 2 activities, one early on and then a later one. Really good, and that the time management for that worked extremely well. I couldn't believe that we were back in here at I think it was 9:15. So the timing worked very well for that activity. A relatively simple game, but it just shows you how much learning can be drawn from a simple game. You made us understand how much water goes into a cup of coffee. You made us understand in any process there can be inefficiency and wastage. You linked to the issue of spilling the water. So there's a lot of lessons that you can draw from a simple game like that. I think the discussion on ethics that you made, I think that's the best introduction and elaboration of ethics that I have ever seen. So excellent job, and I think highlighted by the discussion questions, which got ever more complex and challenging. So very well designed discussion topics on ethics. Yeah, so my compliments to you. Anybody else got any comments they'd like to make? Otherwise, that's all from Unitec Innovation and Entrepreneurship judging team. Thank you indeed. Okay, so that's camera action and cancel down. Now next week